The High Noon Hot Seat is a High Noon production. Check out all of the High Noon productions at highnoonpodcast.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the High Noon Hot Seat brought to you by High Noon Productions. I'm your host, Blevins, and joining me today, we have a very special guest, the president of the Philadelphia Fusion himself, Mr. Tucker Roberts. Hello, sir, and thank you for being on the show.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you on. I really appreciate it. We're trying to get as many of the owners and staff from the different teams as possible. So you are number 2 in terms of owners. We had Kevin Chu from the Soul Dynasty on before, so you got some good competition so far.
Oh boy, big act to follow.
Yeah, yeah, Kevin was great, but I'm sure you are going to be great as well. But let's jump right into this. And we're going to start this off just like we start all of our interviews. And Tucker, I want to get an idea of what is your gaming and/or esports origin story?
Oh boy, well, my gaming story is pretty much my whole life. I would say. I think first game I was playing was Mario on the NES, and then I was with Nintendo for a good while, and actually I'm kind of back now with the Switch. I'm loving it, but went through I was a bit of a console pleb for a while. Then I jumped into PC gaming, especially for MMOs. And then honestly, my dark secret is I do still go back to console because just a lot of my friends are on it.
Yeah.
But I just want to avoid getting Shadowburn blading me at anything I can do to stay away from that. So, but I mean, I loved Star Wars Galaxies, MMO growing up, RuneScape, a bit of let's see, Super Smash Brothers for sure.
Yep.
I dabble in NHL pretty seriously.
Nice.
From EA. I've got some FPSs under my belt. Halo was my main one, but a little bit of Counter-Strike, and now Overwatch, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm thinking back to my origin story, and it sounds very, very similar, including the getting back into consoles with the Switch. It's just so. I mean, it's like a super Game Boy. Like,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the secret. I've actually never plugged mine into the television.
Yeah. I haven't since I like shifted my perspective of like, oh, this is another Wii U. It's like, okay, great. It's like, oh wait, no,
Right.
This is just the Game Boy I've always wanted.
It's just Zelda you can bring to the toilet.
Yep. Well, your words, not mine, although I was definitely thinking the same exact thing. But let's move on into, obviously, the Philadelphia Fusion and the Overwatch League, the main focus here. So, obviously, you've been a gamer for pretty much your whole life, but what were kind of the big reasons for wanting to get into the league and maybe more specifically Overwatch in the first place?
Sure. Well, I'll actually take a quick back story for you about kind of esports, and especially Blizzard. First jobs I ever had was working at Blizzard, and I was lucky enough to get to work on the Call of Duty Experience tournament. And up until then, I had watched some stuff on YouTube, watched some MLG tournaments, but nothing ever. One, it was the first like tournament that scale that I had ever seen in person, and it was kind of just awe-inspiring for me.
Yeah.
Just to see that many people turn out, the budget that big, and to be a part of it was really phenomenal. It was my first experience, interacting with pro gamers. I was basically just like a little logistics manager, making sure they got off the airplanes okay and got to their hotels. And honestly, some crazy stories from that. Back then, I think guys would play. I mean, today they still do a little bit on less, hopefully, with Noah from Immortals being in the scene. But energy drinks was everything. And I saw a guy hop off of a plane from Sweden who had crushed like 4 Red Bulls on the plane, and I'm like, what?
Man.
How? Like, why? Like, why?
How are you living right now?
Who wants to be sitting middle seat coming in from Stockholm, like just antsy? But so I found it really cool interacting with the pros, and that was kind of my first taste of esports. And so to answer your question, when when the Overwatch League was announced and started happening, I think to a lot of people who understood esports and had followed it and understood Blizzard, they thought Blizzard doesn't really strike out. They bring a certain stamp of excellence and quality to everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that alone gives you a lot of, it should give you a lot of comfort in working with them. And, it got me pretty bullish on the potential that this would be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, myself included, obviously, we're in on the same boat. It's like, oh, Blizzard is taking on a big esports project. Yeah, sign me up. I mean, it didn't hurt that I was already doing a competitive Overwatch podcast, but nonetheless, I mean, maybe the Overwatch League was the biggest payoff for me in the High Noon podcast. I don't know, but
yeah.
But in terms of the Philadelphia Fusion, and forming the team specifically, how involved were you in that process?
I like to say more involved than I should be. I'm by no means an Overwatch scout or coach. I am not great even at the game. I'm a lapsed gamer who I don't have the time to even get the skills. But that said, I will pick Widow, insta-lock.
Oh, you're that guy. Gotcha.
Insta-lock Hanzo Torbjorn on attack. No, in all seriousness, I try and find the best coaches and let them do their thing. But when it comes to, building the team and making sure we have a good house and infrastructure, when we have tutoring that we offer the players, when we do things like that, I like to be as involved as I can, because I really care about making the environment the best it can be. And I think that in the long run will serve us really well. In the short run, if you ask me if somebody's a better Winston than somebody else, I don't want to be the expert that has to come in and say, oh yeah, that we should go with player X. So, I'm involved with contracts and, maybe a bit more mundane stuff, but nothing like actually, what strat are we running on Anubis? Like, no, that's not I would not be a winning formula to put me out there.
Gotcha. It makes a lot of sense. So for season 1, obviously the Fusion are of the breed of team that was more of we called them the Junkenstein's monster team, where you're taking some players from a team here, some players from a team here, players from a region over here, and kind of jamming them all together into a kind of an amalgamation of a team, rather than like a Dallas Fuel or a Seoul Dynasty or a New York Excelsior, which basically just signed a whole roster that was already there and just plugged it right into the new roster. So coming into season 1, were you expecting to be like a playoff or a championship level team, or was it more of we're going to get the best players possible and develop them into something maybe in a later season?
Yeah, my focus is on the long term with this, and putting the infrastructure pieces in place to basically allow us to bring in talent from North America, Europe, and Korea, Asia. So you're talking about tripling your effective labor market, if you want to get into the economics terms of it, and in doing so, you can I think increase the high-end talent, and you can basically broaden your search of who you want to bring in. So we're focused on that approach, and we have 9 different countries represented on the roster, which really I think is a testament to Overwatch League and esports. Overwatch and esports, about how many different players there are worldwide, and it's amazing and it's incredible, and we want to tap into all of that. We don't want to just get one country or one piece of it. But that said, I mean, we went out and got some really good players. We expect to make the playoffs. And we I think once you make the playoffs, that's our goal right now. Anything can happen. I think it's been shown already that every team bleeds, and I think a lot of the analysts are in for some surprises when the playoffs come around, and a lot of the stomps they expect to see happen maybe won't.
Yeah, as a dyed-in-the-wool New York Excelsior fan, I've got to say you did put a tear in my eye when you took us down a few weeks ago.
I was going to say, I almost didn't take this call when I saw your Discord avatar, but you brought it up.
Hey, it's okay. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm biased. I definitely still am. But I'm also not trying to hide it. So uh, anyone who listens to the show definitely knows. And also of note, my other co-host who's not here is a Houston Outlaws fan. So you are one of the few teams to have beaten both of our.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah. So kudos.
Well, hopefully we'll keep the tradition alive and just stage 2 we'll see some more of the same.
Well, maybe you can take Outlaws. We'll see about Excelsior. But moving on. So obviously, during the preseason, there were some hangups for you guys in terms of getting people into the country, and you guys actually weren't able to participate in the preseason. What's kind of the story behind that? Is there anything that went on?
Well, look, I see a lot of the comments on Reddit and stuff, and I don't want to give excuses. I just want to give an explanation. Mm-hmm. We were the last team to come in to the league. So about late August, early September, we start building our team, right? We have to have this thing ready to go in October and in time to make preseason in November. Mm-hmm. So everything was done up to a day by day. Like there's no window to miss, even 24 hours. And what happened was we kind of got turned away from visas, as not turned away, but they came back to us and said, hey,
delayed.
We'd like a little bit more evidence of why these guys are the best players. To which we said, we didn't say it, we kind of thought it. Would you know what evidence is if it was looking at you in the face? It's a visa department spot in Vermont looking at Shadowburn's go-to gamer ranking, and they're saying that it's not evidence enough. So sometimes things like that happen. Unfortunately for us, if we had come into the league first, like Boston, it wouldn't have been an issue. But we were a bit late, and it kind of bit us there. And I just feel bad for the players, because it put a lot of stress on our guys that I don't think, they're already under an immense amount of pressure performing in front of so many fans. And it sucks to do that to them. So, I let them know, expectations out the gate. We understand, if things don't jive right away, that's okay. We're in it, and we believe that you guys are great players. And eventually we did get here, and we started off with a win over Houston. So, I think that went a really big way for us, and it's now behind us. Now we have a little bit of time to practice and scrim. And I'm sure, next time we'll make preseason.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of it is definitely come and gone, but please tell me that you had to send like a shadow burn, nano blade video to the visa department. Please tell me that they had to do that. Like that.
We did everything you can imagine and then some to make it happen. And to the office's credit, once they learned what esports was, they started becoming a lot more friendly and helpful to us. And going forward, I think we're in a good place where, they understand that these are athletes. It's the new age athlete, but they're just as, important to the American society to have these guys here. And, they're creating jobs by being here for people like me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just imagining some clerk in the visa department having to watch Shadowburn 4Ks and old Gosu Gamers events, having no idea what's going on, and be like, "This is probably good, right?" They're screaming.
It's not a bad way to spend an afternoon.
True. But moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the team moving forward. Obviously, right now we're in the acquisition and transfer window. We've seen a lot of different shakeups for different teams, from Shanghai Dragons picking up players, London kind of releasing / trading players to other teams. Are there any moves or maybe positions that you're looking to fill right now for the Fusion?
We're always looking, so we'll evaluate things as they come by, but nothing to report right now.
Gotcha. In the similar vein, well, actually, I guess it's not really similar at all, but we've seen the logos, the sponsor logos, come up on the jerseys. We have the I'll just say mixed reviewed Jack in the Box one on the Dallas Fuel jersey, and the Nighthawk one for the Seoul Dynasty, which I think looks awesome personally. Are there any thoughts or maybe not of specific deals that haven't come out yet, but are there thoughts about getting a logo sponsor for the Philadelphia Fusion jersey?
Yeah, well, I mean, well, we're working on it. Don't worry. But it's like you said, having it's part of the jersey, part of something you want to buy and you want to own, and so I care a lot about what brand we put on there. It won't just be whoever gives us the most money.
Right.
I think it's got to be something that you would be proud to, wear the Fusion jersey and wear a brand that you'd also be proud to wear.
I put this out there to Kevin, and we haven't seen it happen yet, so I'll give you the opportunity as well. I will snap become a Philadelphia Fusion fan if you guys get a Taco Bell sponsorship. I'm just
is that a promise? Is it on?
That is 100% a promise. There is evidence here. There's evidence on Twitter. I've said,
all right, we've got recordings.
Whichever team gets the Taco Bell sponsorship, I'm jumping ship and going there.
Fourth meal.
Yeah.
All right.
100% confirmed. I don't care. But
I'll get to work on that right away.
Awesome. I could not be happier to hear that.
Me too, by the way. I mean, I get a Crunchwrap Supreme, and it's like that's a guilty pleasure.
I mean, and you think about it, you can have like a Philadelphia Fusion flavored Mountain Dew. There's the possibilities are endless. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you. By the way, my secret. I've never been denied this at a Taco Bell, so I don't know if it'll work for anybody else, but I assume it will. But I'm not a sour cream fan, so I go Crunchwrap Supreme, and then I'll ask them to substitute in the creamy jalapeno sauce, which is the sauce from the quesadilla, chicken quesadilla, instead of the sour cream. That's the way to live life.
I've got to say that is a president of the Philadelphia Fusion type of move. I've got to say that is awesome. I'm 100% trying that next time, and I'll tweet you when I get denied or when I get it. I'll make sure to get you the picture. To see it. But I want to move on a little bit. This is an issue, or maybe not an issue, but a topic I've seen kind of happen a little bit with some of the other teams who have ties to traditional sports teams. So New York Excelsior, for instance, has the tie to the New York Mets with the ownership kind of overlapping there. And there was it was either a tweet or an announcement or something that the Mets actually sent out about the New York Excelsior. And I think I saw this a little bit with the Boston Uprising as well, where I guess the streams are kind of crossing here, the traditional sports and esports fans. And as a fan of both, I'm like, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing ever. But we saw at least a glimpse of the diehard traditional fans seeing esports and just completely like being like, what in the world is this? Why are there video games on my feed? Like completely like thrashing it. So I wanted to get kind of your thoughts on that, and B, is there any plans or ways that you're planning to cross promote with the Flyers and the existing and utilizing that existing sports fan base to promote the Fusion?
Yeah, well, I'm like yourself. I'm a diehard hockey fan, so for me it's great. The Flyers and the Fusion are my two favorite things in the world to watch. So I think there's a lot of people out there like us, and there's going to be more in the coming years. I think there's especially when you look at the demographics of traditional sports, it's a bit older, esports is a bit younger, and so there's also a lot of parent-child relationships there that are fostered. Somebody wants to go to watch their parents' favorite sports team, becomes a fan. Maybe the parent goes to watch their child's favorite esports team and becomes a fan. So I think it's a great way to co-market. I don't think it's the only marketing you're going to have, but I do think it's additive. I think to the naysayers out there, shut up. It doesn't bother you. Like there's always a group of people that make fools of themselves, I think, when you have enough of it. And so people shouting at the nerds for having their fun, like, well, just stop.
Yeah.
As far as what we've got planned, we've done a little bit as far as like some the Flyers have put out at the venue some cool little videos and stuff, and we're planning some more of that. And we were also hoping to do some more with tweets and some of the videos about highlights and stuff like that coming up. So it's really early. It's not even halfway through the first year of this, so we're kind of putting the pieces in place to make sure we have a better oiled machine. But we're planning on it, and we see it as a valuable marketing channel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of the people who tend to make a fool of themselves on the internet, I have noticed that a lot of them are sports fans. So myself included in that discussion as well, but that is not for neither here nor there. Another question. We had LA Valiant kind of announce that they're going to be moving their venue to their home venue in, I believe they said season 3. I don't know if that was confirmed or if that was just rumored. But how far along is the Philadelphia Fusion in regards to moving to the home location?
So there's limits on what I can say.
Right.
I will say we really want to come to Philadelphia as soon as possible. We just had our hometown Heroes event this Saturday. I don't know if you saw that at all, but I'm from Philly, and it is such a blast to be in Philly doing esports, doing Overwatch. So I cannot wait to get there, and I'm doing everything I can to make that process go quickly. I'm so jealous of Noah and the Valiant for just getting to move down the street and oh yeah, we moved, right? Like we have to go 3,000 miles. Yeah. So I really want to do it as soon as possible. That's really all I can say about it. But it was eye-opening this weekend, and hanging out with the fans and interacting with them. It was a ton of fun. It was snowing, and people were in until midnight playing games. Like it was awesome. So we want to. I believe in Philadelphia as going to be a real esports city. I know that we are a sports city. Like, we're notorious for booing. We are just crazy, and esports is perfect for that. So I think we're just a natural fit.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. And as a Buffalo, New York native, Philadelphia is one of the 3 teams that I'm basically equidistant to. New York, Boston, and Philly are all about 8 hours away. So I'm definitely going to be getting to some home games for all of them. So
you're saying it's not too late to bring you over to the light side?
Oh, it's definitely not too late. It is absolutely not too late. I mean, I have the XL merch already, but I am definitely always willing to be bought out, and I'm the first person to tell you that too.
Well, see what we can do. Maybe after the podcast, we'll send you some stuff. I'm happy to buy you out.
Hey, I'm always willing to hear more about that. But Tucker, I know your schedule is very busy, so I just have one more question that I wanted to ask you. That I've asked all the people that are involved with teams. So, in your best words, why should the fans of High Noon Podcast be a fan of the Philadelphia Fusion?
Oh man, that's a good one. I would say, we've got the most diverse cast of characters on the team, and I think you're going to start to see that come to light more and more. We're maybe not like mayhem in our entrances, but we've got a little bit of everything. If you like Shadowburn, I mean, he's the stand-up guy. Fraggy, Poco and Carpe, all these guys are superstars, right? And they're from all over the world. And to me, it's just so amazing to see all these different countries united under one cause, which is to kick ass in Overwatch. And, people talk about globalism and changing markets, whatever. Like this is it. This is way bigger than basketball. This is way bigger than hockey or baseball that are all regional things. This is like international. It's virtual. It's the future of the way we will compete, I believe, going forward. And Fusion is a microcosm of that, all living in one house in Burbank.
Yeah.
And we got some great memes, some really spicy memes.
That's true. You guys did have the I remember seeing a job opening for a meme specialist on there. So
we have never gotten more applications for a job position, and
I don't think anyone has
racy resumes, and it is awesome. I love that I can be a part of something where we've got a meme specialist. I wanted to call it the meme ops, the meme operations, director of meme ops.
operations. Oh man.
But
Well, if you're
didn't
looking
work with
for
our
an,
naming conventions.
if you're looking for a residing member of meme operations, I'm definitely open to chat as well. But
There you go. Well, send me your resume. Send me what you got, and the meme economy will decide.
Definitely will do. But Tucker, thanks so much for being on. I want to give you the floor here. If there's anything that you want to shout out or anything that you want to say, that the floor is yours. And go ahead.
Well, yeah. To thank you so much to you, John, for having me on, and I and to the listeners for, if you made it this far, I don't know what you're doing. You should listen to something more entertaining than me. But the fans have been really amazing, and the Overwatch League has had an incredible start, and I'm just so fortunate to be a part of it. And I really love the team, love the staff that I'm working with, and we are the Fusion family. And cheesy as that is to say, it really does feel that way. Everybody's texting each other up at 3 a.m. Did you see this? Did you hear that? And it's been the most fun adventure I think I've ever been on.
I can only imagine, though. I did notice that you said it was cheesy, like cheesy gordita. Taco Bell sponsorship confirmed. You heard it here first, folks. But no, in all seriousness, no. Tucker, thank you so much for being on the High Noon Hot Seat. You have survived. You are officially a survivor of the High Noon Hot Seat and forever a friend of the podcast. You can always reach out for anything that you need. But guys, that is going to be it. Make sure that you follow all the Philadelphia Fusion stuff. Follow Tucker, just for, even if for nothing else, then they have a meme specialist on staff. You got to check that out. And even though they beat the New York Excelsior, it's still one of my favorite teams in the league. But again, for last time, Tucker, thank you so much for being on the show, and thanks everyone for listening. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.